Hi and welcome back to Step-by-Step Guitar Tuition.com. This is the second lesson in the Step 6 module. In this lesson I'm going to show you how to play all of the 2-octave scales that you've learned so far in all 12 keys. You should be confident with all those scales by now before continuing with this lesson. Also, don't forget to refer to your lesson notes where you'll find lots of useful information. Before we begin, let me just recap some important information that we looked at earlier in the step-by-step syllabus about the chromatic scale. There are 12 musical notes altogether, and the first 7 letters of the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, are used to name the notes. When a note is raised in pitch like this, it's called sharpening the note, and when a note is lowered in pitch, that's called flattening the note. The same principle applies to scales. In your lesson notes you can see the complete sequence of notes from A through to G, including sharpened notes and flattened notes, and this sequence is called the chromatic scale. Look closely at the sequence and you'll notice that the notes B and C and the notes E and F are the only notes which don't have a sharp or flat between them. It's very important that you remember this when learning the chromatic scale. You'll also notice that the note between A and B can be named either A sharp or B flat. These notes are called enharmonic. This also applies to the note between C and D, D and E, F and G back to A. Take some time to study the chromatic scale, paying particular attention to the points I've just mentioned, and practice reciting it up and down. To demonstrate, I'll use the A major scale starting at the 5th fret. If you study the chromatic scale in your notes, you can see that the 5th fret on the bottom E string is the note A. E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A. So the A major scale takes its name from the A note at the 5th fret. Now if I move up 1 fret to the 6th and play the same major scale pattern, the scale now takes its name from the note A sharp or B flat. So by moving up 1 fret, I've transposed the scale from A to A sharp or B flat. If I transpose the scale up another fret to the note B, the scale becomes the B major scale. And if I go up another from B to C, I have the C major scale. And from C up to C sharp or D flat, C sharp major scale, and from C sharp up to D, the D major scale, and so on. Now let's try the same thing with the blues scale starting at the 5th fret, A, blues scale. This time we'll transpose down to the 4th fret, which is the note A flat or G sharp. So now I'm playing the A flat blues scale. And if I transpose it down again to the 3rd fret, G, and play the same pattern, now I'm playing the G blues scale. And if I go down again to G flat, the G flat blues scale. And one more down to F, the F blues scale. So you can see that transposing scales to different keys simply involves moving the pattern up or down the fingerboard and selecting the right starting note. Practice transposing all of the scales that you know and use the lesson notes as an aid to identifying the key note or root note of the scale. So now you know how to transpose scales and play them in all 12 keys. This means that with practice, no matter which key you're playing in, you'll be able to identify and select the right scale for improvising. Later in this module we'll look at improvising in random keys. I look forward to seeing you in lesson 3, where we'll be looking at some 1 octave minor 7th arpeggios. I'll see you then.